All right, good morning and welcome to Daf Yevamos, Daf Chaf Aleph, number 21. Uh, we have an amazing share for you today, and I was just in a fiery discussion with Rabbi Shmuel Wittau, who has appeared on Enoch Ben Zion before the Rosh Kol here, and we were discussing what's going to be the source of today's Enoch Ben Zion section of the shir. It's a really worthwhile discussion. We're going to be talking about the difference between bia and beila. Two words represent marital relations. You could say bia and beila, and maybe two mitzvahs of yibum. Is there one? Everyone thought there's one mitzvah of yibum. I'm going to be mechadesh. There's actually a second mitzvah of yibum. There's two kinyanim yesterday. We talked about a kinyan of yibum and a kinyan of suin, and it could be there's two mitzvahs to do the Yibam and to do the Nisuin by Yevamos. And it all is going to start off from right now. We're going to talk about it and dive right into it. It's a very difficult daf today, the cases, but it's not so complicated. All right, the bottom here. What?
They have a ksuba, by the way. She has a ksuba.
An almana marries a Kohen Gadol has a ksuba? Is that the halacha? Yeah.
יש להם כסובה. It's also in Yevamos.
Who says it?
Who says it? The Mishnah.
Mishnah. All right, we're gonna have to get more into this. This is gonna be a discussion that's gonna come up a lot. And Wittau did not agree with what I was saying. He said, "Lechora. If there's a kedushin that he's doing, I want to say that we're going to talk about whether if you marry someone illicitly with only a lav, we know kedushin is tosin b'chayv elaven. What about is nisuin tosin b'chayv elaven? Why is it going to take kedushin? Nisuin, that's a question. Are you considered married if you're married to a almana l'kohen gadol? A kohen gadol is married to almana, or a kohen is married to a grusha. Are they technically considered married or not, or are they just considered forever betrothed but never actually married? All right, let's start from the bottom. Itmar. Second to last line on Chaf Amud Beis, they were doing Chaf Aleph 21. Itmar Bias Kohen Gadol ba'Almana, right? Kohen Gadol is Boel and Almana. Again, not Boel, it's Bia. It says that I'm going to explain why it says the word Bia over here. Bia means just it's not a complete sexual action. It's just releasing zera as Bia. The Gemara in Yevamos talks about what Tchilas Bia is, whether it's Neshika or Machnis Atara. Bia is not a full marital relations. It's missing part. It's missing the main part, the Be'ila. We'll talk about that soon. Bias Kohen Gadol ba'Almana. Rabbi Yochanan Lezer Chanamar Ina Poter Esrasa Chanamar Poter Esrasa. They have machlokas. Whether, right, again, this almana falls to a Kohen Gadol with a co-wife, right, from his brother. So she can't marry, Kohen Gadol can't marry the almana, right? So, but it's only chayve lavin. So, let's say he decides to do yibum with the almana. Does it part of the sarah or not part of the sarah? Is it considered a mitzvah of yibum? If it's a mitzvah of yibum, it parters the sarah because he did yibum. Sarah is poter. So if he didn't do a mitzvah, it's not poter the sarah. The Rishonim ask over here a question: why is there a shaila of poter sarasa? The question should be whether by the sarah, by the woman the almana, is there a mitzvah of yibum to affect a get? Rashi says poteris osav es sarasa v'nachitza sagi la beget, meaning there's no way you have to sever it through a get. You can't sever it through a chalitza. So that would be another nafkamina, not by the sarah, by the woman herself. Whether if you hold that the mitzvah applies over here, is kind of the mitzvah of yibum, so therefore she need a get. Otherwise, you need a chalitza. I'm going to answer this question in Enoch Ben Zion. So the Gemara continues chaval from the top of Amam and Nasuin kol yamalo pligi the low patch. Everyone agrees Almanam and Nasuin. If the woman was previously married to another man, and therefore she is an essay and alose to the Kohen Gadol, the lo patra. It's not going to bother the sarah. It's not a mitzvah of you. The Torah doesn't tell you to do a mitzvah essay when you're violating an essay alose essay. There's no mitzvah of yibum. Of course, you're not going to bother the sarah, and you for sure you wouldn't need a get. Keep pligi bal monim and eris, and the machlokes is when she's almonim and eris, and that's the question where it's a regular essay doch alose. Manamar poteres as yesiv dachilos. If you hold the pater of Sarah, so you would be mekayim mitzvah of yibum, because the mitzvah of yibum is docha the losa say of almana. Uman da amar ain't a poteres as yesiv dachilos say. The essay wouldn't be docha losa, even though normally essay is docha losa. They came in the efshar bechalitza. Since you could do the mitzvah of chalitza, you could do chalitza. So therefore, we learned Rish Lakish says yesterday that essay is only docha losa when you have no way out. You have a way out, so then it's not docha the losa say. So the Gemara says, "Meisive vim balu kana." We learned from a sris, right? The brisa yesterday of a sris. Lo yavo psua daka krus shafcha b'kal Hashem. The Torah commands you and says that there's no bia. It's interesting why the Torah uses the word bia. Bia, he can't come into kal Hashem sris, but and therefore he's in a lav. So let's say a sris, a Yevamos falls to a sris, right? So the sris is no mitzvah of yibum because even though he's an essay mitzvah of yibum, there's a los essay of lo yavo sris b'kal Hashem. He can't be yibum. Yibum is beila. He has to do beila. He can't do or bia. He can't do that with this woman. So we learned even though it's afshar b'chalitza, right? He could do chalitza. He does yibum. The Gemara, the brisa is in balu kanu. If he did beila, you're kona. So you see, even though he has an option of chalitza, we still say essay do chalose. The Gemara says, it says indeed, tiyufta, it's a disproof over there. You can't say, according to the one, for sure it would pata the Sarah, the one who says, the opinion that says it pata the Sarah, it would pata the Sarah, it would affect Kenyan Yibum. So the Gemara says, let me have it to you, now me to the Reish Lakish. Maybe this price in Balu Kanu is to the Reish Lakish also. Amach Reish Lakish, Kamina Ana Heichad Makayim Mitzvah, Hacha, Chalitza Makom Yibum Lav Mitzvah. He said, Reish Lakish defends himself. Even though the Gemara seemingly disproved Reish Lakish yesterday, and it seems to be there's no distinction between the two. He says, I only say where there's no, where there's an option to get out of it by doing a mitzvah, right? Essay is dochalos essay, as long as you don't have a way out. But if you have a way out, as long as you do a mitzvah. But here, chalitza makom yibum is not considered a mitzvah. Now we know that a person has an option to do yibum or chalitza. To say chalitza is not a mitzvah, it is one of the mitzvahs in the Torah. Some say it's the preferable way of doing. We hold not lamaisa nowadays that there's no mitzvah to do yibum. The mitzvah is chalitza because we're not going to have the right kavanas. You're supposed to do chalitza. You can't do yibum today. So for sure, chalitza is a mitzvah. So how can we say it's not a mitzvah? Rish Lakish just said before, we saw Rish Lakish on Chafam Beis, the Gemara really said that chalitza was an efsharas. It was an efsharas. So it wasn't Gemara going back on Rish Lakish and now he's saying chalitza makom yibum is not a mitzvah. All these questions are going to be answered in the Ben Sion. It's very strange, this Gemara, and we have to decipher what's going on. Amar Rava. Now back to a new topic about shnios. In the Mishnah, talk about shnios. Iser mitzvah. Rava remez a shnios min haTorah mina. How do you know there's a remez? Shnios are min rabbanan. Secondary arayos that are not considered to be min haTorah, biblically prohibited, are prohibited rabbanan as a safeguard. You shouldn't come to do a doraisa. How do you know there's a makor for this? And that mark is called Tevos Ha'el Asu Anshe Haaretz. It's talking about arayos. All that they did, Ha'el, these toevos, these abominations, the people of the land did. Ha'el, the word Ha'el is an interesting word. Kashos, El is grave or very serious sins, strong sins. Miklal Dika Rakos. So why I say El? To tell you that these are the ones that kares are the strong ones, the really bad ones. Rakos, the softer ones, there are, but they're not as terrible. What are the rakos? The shnios. How do you know the word El is a lashon of being severe? Dichsiv, it's Eilar is lakach. The Nebuchadnezzar killed the strong ones of the land. Lema pligi the Rabbi Levi. Say this argument Levi. Amar Levi, kasha onshin shal midos, yosei onshin shal rayas. It's worse to make a sin with midos, right? A sin with midos. Let's say you make weights and measures, right? You go in a store, you sell bananas or you sell cucumbers, and you go to the cash register and they have weights that are adding some weight, and you have to pay more for your bananas or your cucumbers. They don't weigh as much. It's worse than arayos. Shazen never had by el. Was never had by ele by milos is ele with a hay, an extra hay. El kasha ve'ele kasha me'el. Ele is worse than el. So where it says gabe arayos nami aksiv ele. It says ele by arayos. So the word says hulamute midos mikares. There it says ele to tell you that only by arayos you get kares, midos is no chayav kares. Elamai chumra. If you see that arayos deserve kares and midos don't get kares, so why are they more chamer? Why are they more severe, stringent? Midos, why is it worse? Hani efshir b'tshuva, hani lo efshir b'tshuva. Arayos, seemingly you could do tshuva. For the midos, you can't really do tshuva because you probably made a mistake. You probably stole from so many people, you don't even know who they are. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Huda Amar Mahachar, this is a different source for Shnios. V'ized v'chiker tiken b'shalom harbe. Amar Ula, this is talking about Shlomo Melech. He made many parables. Amar Ula, Amar Lazar, Kodesh b'Shlomo ha'isa Torah dam l'kfiv Hashem la'oznayim. Before Shlomo Melech came, the Torah was like a basket without any handles. Asher b'Shlomo ma'asa la'oznayim, it had handles for the Torah, right? It's like a safeguard for the Torah.
That's Tillstone.
That's v'ized, what?
Tillstone.
Tellstone.
Oznaim l'Torah. That's the street right over here called Oznaim l'Torah.
Interesting.
Zalman Sorotsky wrote a sefer on the Torah. Oznaim l'Torah, but that's the word here, Oznaim l'Torah.
Right. Exactly. Oznaim l'Torah. I mean, it handles the Torah. It means ears, really.
Ears.
But
Jug ears. You know what jug ears are?
Jug ears?
Jug ears, yeah.
I got it. But a jug, you put ears on that, right?
It's called jug ears. That's what they call it.
Right. So if you have your mug, your coffee mug, and you have
That's right.
an ear, right? It looks like an ear almost, right? You have the coffee mug,
That's
that
right.
round thing coming out. It looks the shape of an
Over
ear.
here they have one on, but by a jug you have two.
Right. So that's the ear, and that's why it's called an ear. Very good. Shmuel gave us a chiddush today. He's really explaining on his ball. He's on his game today, Shmuel.
Thank you, Rebbe.
It's good to have you, Shmuel, back.
It's a compliment.
It's been a while, you know. Shmuel is involved in extensive research of his PhD, his thesis.
right,
What is your thesis about?
About moon gobies. Yes.
What? What's moon gobies? Explain yourself.
Oh, it's a type of rodent that lives in the desert.
What are you looking into about this?
It's habitat.
Oh, like a mouse? What is it? Like a
Yes,
hamster?
something like that.
And you're interested in this? Why?
Oh, it's an amazing creature.
What is it called again? What is it called?
I don't know what it's called. You
A
make
moon goby?
Yeah.
Now, what's your thesis about? Tell everyone in the audience. What are you doing a thesis on?
Well, my thesis it's very simple basically.
It's on
It's very
epistemology, you know, epistemology.
simple. That's right.
Right.
Epistemology with a little bit of
epistemology.
epistemology. Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
The study of knowledge,
the study
right?
Of knowledge, right. And
right. You want to know: is there really knowledge, or is it all fake? Right? Is there a concept?
No, it's real. It's real.
There is such
it
thing
real?
as knowledge.
Maybe it's not real. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you really know
I
anything?
hope
If
it's
not
real,
true,
or else my whole thesis is down.
if you have opinions and theories and nothing is proven to be fact, is it really knowledge or not? Do a thesis on that, all right? I want to hear your thesis about epistemology, whether knowledge is real or not real.
I think I like that word epistemology.
If anyone is wondering, Shmuel has graduated Harvard undergrad, went to University of Pennsylvania. The business school. What is that business? The Wharton Business School. And he is doing his thesis now on epistemology's effect on businesses.
Yes, and also
right, because your employees have to believe in your motto and your logo, and if your employees don't believe that your company can actually produce things, right? So you
don't really have to do anything.
So that's the question: how important is knowledge in the framework of business, right? For your employees, right?
That's right.
That's great. That's really important. Important work you're doing.
I hope I'll get my NBA. My NBA.
NBA? He wants to play in the NBA.
NBA. Sorry, NBA.
NBA. All right. What does that stand for?
Okay, let's come on.
All right. If any of you know what that stands for, I think it's Masters. I don't know. Business something, arts. All right, let's go. All right, so back to the Gemara. So the Gemara says, Rehuda says, Mahachal, he's in Chikach, right? He made Oznaim LaTorah, like Shmuel said, street here in Telstone. Amar Lazar, Kodesh Bashlomo, he said Torah Demel, if people didn't have ears, didn't have a handle, Shlomo also Oznaim, therefore he made safeguards, he made shnios. Shlomo, in fact, made the shnios, so that you should be able to handle the pot. The pot is very hot. The rice is very hot. In order to handle the pot, you made shnios, so you shouldn't come to burn yourself. Rishai Amar Mahacha, Para'eu al taverbo shate me'alav avor, make it large, right? Anything which is large, make it, right? These isurim are large, make them large, make them discernible. Shate me'alav avor, remove it from yourself and pass by, so you shouldn't trip over the arayah. Tamar Rashi, Mashal Roshai Lamadar Adam, what's the parable of Roshai like? Adam Mishamar parties, Mishamar Bachutz, if he watches his orchard, if he watches at the entrance, he stands at the entrance, Kul Mishtamer. He's going to be able to protect the whole thing. Mishamar Bifnim, he goes inside and he protects it from inside. Shalach not of Mishtamer, only directly in front of him or right behind him is protected. Shalach in Mishtamer, but things to the sides of him is not work, is not Mishtamer. Rather, Ravashi Beduzi, the Gemara says, Ravashi's comparison to an orchard is not really a good comparison. Hasam Shalnafan of Mia Mishtamer. There, at least if you're inside the orchard, at least the things you can see in front of you are watched. If you don't have shnios, then you have nothing, because you'll come to do the arayas. Rav Kahana Amar Mahacha, he says a different makor, B'shmartim is Mishmarti, you should make a safeguarding to my safeguard. Asu Mishmer Mishmarti, make a safeguard to my commandments. Amalei Abayel Rav Yosef Hadaraisi from the Torah. We know Shtios the Rabbanan. The Gemara says the Raisa Upirshu Rabbanan. It's from the, you're right, it is from the Torah. The Rabbanan explained it. So Gemara says Kol Torah Kulanami Pirshu Rabbanan. The whole Torah. Asu Mishmer Mishmarti. It's on the whole Torah, right? The Rabbanan explained. They told you the whole Shas is filled with the Rabbanan explaining what the Torah is referring to. Really, even he would admit it's only the Rabbanan. The pasuk is just a support; it's a proof, but it's not the makor, not the source. It's a proof that what he's saying that shnios have validity. Tan Rabbanan, ma'im shnios. What are some cases of shnios? Aimimo, right? You can't an erva. Your mother is an erva. You can't be married to your mother. You also can't be married to your grandmother, your mother's mother. Aim aviv. Can't be married to your father's mother, another grandmother. Eishes Avi, Aviv, also the wife of your grandfather. You can't be married to your father's wife, even if she's not your mother. That's allowed in the Torah. Also, the Shnios, they made also your grandfather's wife. Eishes Avi Imo. Along with that, they included also your mother's father's wife, right? Your grandfather from your mother's wife. Eishes Achi Ab Min Ha'im. Also, the wife of your father's brother, right? Your father's brother, the wife, which is our aunt, you can't marry her. But if it's your father's brother, they don't share it's only maternal brother, not a paternal brother. Your father, that's not asur midaraisa. That's only asur midarabban shnios. So eishes achia ayim min ha'av, also the brother of your mother, even if it's from an av, even if it's paternal brother, your mother shares that, right? An aunt is technically midaraisa allowed to marry her nephew. Right? Midarabbanan, we see it's asur. Kalasa kalas b'nav kalas bito, the son-in-law of your son and the son-in-law of your daughter. Mutter adam b'eishes chamav b'eishes chorgo. Now certain things are mutter. They allowed you the wife of your father-in-law, who's not your mother. Obviously, your mother-in-law you can't marry because you're married to a daughter and a mother at the same time. But you could marry a different wife. If your father-in-law marry somebody else, you can marry that. Ve'eshes chorgo. Chorgo is your stepson, meaning your steps. You took another wife, a step wife. I don't know, not another. Second wife, not step wife.
The Stepford wife.
A step wife, and you didn't take a step wife. You took another wife, and that would make her children your stepchildren. And she had a daughter, a son. Right, that the wife of that son is considered mutter to you. Asur bebas chorgo, the daughter of your chorgo, the daughter of your son-in-law, you can't marry.
That's right.
Right? Why can't your stepson, the daughter of your stepson, you can't marry? Because again, that would be a mother and a grandmother. You're married to the mother and the granddaughter. You can't marry at the same time. Why are you echoing me? Chorgo mutter beishto. Chorgo, his stepson, is allowed to marry your wife, right? Your wife, Obito, and your daughter. Ve'ishes Chorgo, Omeres Lo, the wife of his stepson, says to him, Ani mutaras lecha, I'm technically mutter to you, to the stepfather. Umbiti asur lecha, my daughter is asur to you, right? Because that would be a mother and her granddaughter. Bas Chorgo. The Gemara says Bas Chorgo, it's not midrabbanan, it's not shnios. the daughter of it's Daraisi, the Chsiv as Bas Benav as Bas Bita. You can't marry her mother and her granddaughter. The Gemara says, Mishum L'Chabayim Misi Seva Eishes Korgo Omeres La'aniyam Mutar L'Chal Biti Asur L'Cha. Wanted to say this unique phrase that she has this nice saying that she can say to them that I'm mutter to you, my daughter is not mutter to you. Even though my daughter lost me the raisa, but didi lagazer rabbanan. Still by me, they didn't even make a gzer rabbanan. It's mutter lagamre. Tana reisha nami bas korgo. Therefore, also said bas korgo, even though it's the raisa. Yachi eishes chamiv nami tema. The wife of your father-in-law. You should also say ani mutaris lecha. I'm married to you. Biti asur lecha.
Right.
My daughter.
Mutter.
Is usher to you. The havya achos ishto,
Achos ishto.
your wife's sister,
Ah,
right?
but
Because you
it's mutter
share,
sometimes.
because it's your wife's sister, because they share. Stop doing that. Because they share a father, right? I can't hear. People can't hear if you do that. Havya achos ishto, because they share a father, right? They share a father. Your father-in-law had your wife, and then he marries another woman, so that's the sister of your wife and the father. It's your sister. Gemara says ha paskile ha psikale halo psikale. The reason it doesn't say that phrase is because achas ishto could become mutter in the future, right? If she dies, your wife dies, you can marry her sister. Otherwise, the other arayos, even when the person dies, you can't marry the erva. Amarav, Raz says arba nashim yeshlan hefsek. 4 women have a hefsek. Meaning, normally we say that generations after generations, right? You can't marry a mother and her daughter, a mother and her granddaughter, a mother and great granddaughter. It keeps on going on and on and on. 4 women have a hefsek. I mean, only that generation, the generation above, is considered mother. Naki Rav Biyadi tlas. He told you 3 cases. Eishes achi ha'em min ha'av. The wife of your mother's brother that shares a paternal brother. That woman is only is asr, but above that is not. Eishes achi ha'av min ha'em. Again, the wife of your father's brother, min ha'em kalaso. And your daughter-in-law. The Gemara is going to ask the daughter-in-law is the raisa. V'ziri most of Eishes avi imo. V'ziri says even in the case of your grandmother's, your father's mother's wife, your mother's father's wife. That case would be only that case, but the generation above, meaning his father's wife, would be muteris. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak v'simanech di'ilai de Rav. So Ziri says one generation above Rav. He says the grandfather generation, and Rav was talking about one generation, only a father generation. Rav, my time why didn't Rav include Ziri's case? Avi Aviv. He says that no, that generation above would be Aser because just like your grandfather's wife would be Aser, so therefore your grandfather from your mother, and above that would be Asr, because just like grandfather's wife is Asr, not just your grandfather, your great grandfather's wife and your great grandfather's wife, if it's Shayach, it's possible they're still alive, they're all Asr because it's the same thing as your mother's father's wife, or mother's father's wife will also be Asr. He says it's more common for a person to go to his father's father than his mother's father. Therefore, it's more shayach to make zeros over there. Kalaso, so the Gemara goes back to Rav's 3rd case. Kalaso, top of column B is Daraisa. It's in Daraisa. Are you leaving?
Yes.
All right, bye, Shmuel.
Bye.
I hope I didn't offend you. I couldn't really. All right. Thank you, Shmuel. Please, hatzlach on your PhD. The chsiv ervas kalaska lo segala. Says the erva of your kala. You're not allowed your daughter-in-law. You're not allowed to sleep with your daughter-in-law. That's us midaraisa. So Gemara says, "Ema kalas beno." He didn't mean to say kala. So the daughter-in-law of your son, meaning your son's daughter-in-law. Kalas beno yesh la hefsek. The Gemara says the daughter-in-law of your son has a hefsek, meaning it has only that generation. The generation after the nava tanya kalaso erva. Kalas beno shnia. Cheda omer beno bein beno atzof kal doros. You're the grandchild's kala. Your great-grandson's kala, his daughter-in-law, they're all aser. Alaima kala's bito. We're not talking about. They're talking about the daughter-in-law of your daughter, meaning your daughter had a son and the son married a wife. That woman, only that generation, but kala's bas bito, it would be mutter. The Amar Rav Chisa Milsa Megaber Rabba Shmili I heard the following from a great person, Uman Rabbi Ami, or Ami said, Lo asru kala ibnei kala. They only asked a kala because of a kala. Amrul kiladai, and the sorcerer said, Melfana havius, you're going to be a teacher. Amina, so when they told me that, Igava Rabba Havina, if I'm a great person, Aspera Midaiti, then the proof will be they'll have to figure it out, Lo asru kala ibnei kala by myself. Even Mikri Dartiki Havina, but they meant to say that I'm going to be a teacher in Gan, in school teacher, in yeshiva, in the cheder, I'm going to have to ask the Rabbanan what this means. The Asul Beit Knishta, they come to the shul. And now I failed to figure out what Rami said by himself. Lo Astru Kala's boss, so he was happy. He became a Rosh Yeshiva. He's not just a teacher in cheder, he's a Rosh Yeshiva. So he was happy to figure it out himself. So what was the explanation? Lo Astru Kala's Bito Ela Mishum Kala's Bino. You don't answer the daughter-in-law of your daughter because the daughter-in-law of your son. So therefore, it's only Gzeira l'Gzeira. It's Gzeira Kalas Bito is because it's similar to Kalas Bino. And therefore, only Kalas Bito, only that generation, but Kalas Bat Bito didn't answer. Amar le Abayah the Rabba, Aspercha, Abayah the Rabba, I'll tell you further what Rami meant. Kigon Kalas the base Bar Sisai. Rav Papa, Amar Gun Kalas the Bay Rav Papa, Bar Abba, Rav Ashi, Amar Gun Kalas the Bay Mari, Bar Isek. These were all cases where they had their son had a daughter-in-law, and the daughter had a daughter-in-law. It's not clear. Article seems to say that in these cases where the son and the daughter had a son-in-law, so therefore even the daughter-in-law, the daughter-in-law of the daughter, and the daughter-in-law of the granddaughter would be usher, because they had mixed together. I would say these are examples of, even though they had how it's very frequent to have a son-in-law of a daughter and a son-in-law of a son, even though they were living together, and I only applied the generations down to the daughter-in-law of the grandson, not the daughter-in-law coming from the bat. The following question was posed: the wife of your mother's brother, not min ha'av, min ha'em, right? Meaning your mother's maternal brother, not paternal brother. Mao, eish za'achia av min ha'em, right? Your mother, your father's brother, maternal brother. Eish za'achia em min ha'av, and your mother's paternal brother. Dikasad av, that's where there's av, hu de gazra rabbanan, because there's a connection to the father. Aval heicha deleka sarav. Right, the only Isser, right? Technically, midoraisa, aunt is allowed to marry your mother's brother's wife. Is allowed to marry you. The laking, your aunt from your father's brother's wife, you're not allowed to marry. Leka sarav, gazra. And here, there's two steps away. They weren't gozer. Dilma loshna. Maybe it was all included. Amar Safra. He who guvak zera, anikam nigzer gzer. He says it must be mutter. It's a gzer l'gzer. We make one gzer. We make two gzeros. Amar Rava. Atu kulu lav gzer l'gzer. No, Rava says all the shnios are gzer l'gzer. Imo erva, his mother, your mother is erva midaraisa. Aim imo, your grandmother is shnia. V'gazra aim aviv mishum aim imo. And they were made a gzera. Not only imo is a shnia, but also they included in shnios. They included the mother of your father. Mishum aim imo. V'taimam mai kulu debei imo rabasi karol. They all called your grandmother. Another example. Eish is aviv erva. Your father's wife is an erva. Eish is aviv shnia. Your grandfather's wife was not your grandmother's a shnia. But Gazral Eish avi imo mishum Eish avi aviv. They also made a gzeira on your grandfather from your mother's father's wife. Even though it's seemingly gzeira. Kulu debe abba rabba karule. They're all called your grandfather's wife. They're all your grandfather. Eish zachi av min av. Another example. Your father's brother's wife. Erva. Eish zachi av min ha'em shnia. So similarly, in this case, when your father's brother's wife maternally, shnia, there goes on your mother's paternal brother, because your father's the time of your father's brother's wife. Right, and there goes there on your mother's brother from the father, paternally. Right, they're all called your aunts. So here also it should be. So the Gemara says, "My." The Gemara says it's a good reasoning, but what's really the halacha? Tashma the Chazar Yehuda Bar Shela Amar Amri Marava Kosev Nekeva Erva Bezachar Gazra Al Ishto Mishum Shniya. Any time where the woman is in erva, by the man there goes there on Ishto Mishum Shniya. Amar Rava V'Klalahu is really a general principle. Chamoso erva. Your mother-in-law is an erva. Eishas Chamiv Muteres. So the answer was that it should be Aser, right? Just like the Zakar, when it comes from your father's brother's wife, is Aser. Also, it comes from the Keva Erva. The Zakar Gazra al Ishto. Right? The Nekeva would be your father's brother's wife. So therefore, by the Zakar, there also Gozer. So the Gemara says, is this a general rule? Chamoso Erva, your mother-in-law is an Erva. Eishas Chamiv Muteres. The wife of your father-in-law, who's not your mother-in-law, is muteres. Bas chamoso erva. The daughter of your mother-in-law is an erva. Your wife's sister. Eishes ben chamoso muteres. The wife of your brother-in-law is muter. Bas chamiv erva. The daughter of your father-in-law is an erva. It's your sister. It's your wife's sister. Eishes ben chamiv muteres. The wife of your father-in-law's son is muteres. Chargaso erva. Your stepson, your stepdaughter is an erva. Eishas Kargal Muteres. If you have a stepson, the wife is Muteres. Bas Kargaso erva. The daughter of your stepdaughter is Aser. Eishas Ben, or stepson, is Aser. Eishas Ben Kargal Muter. The wife of the son of your stepson is Muteres. V'had the Rav Yehuda. The says V'had the Rav Yehuda Bar Shela Asuyim. What is he coming to include? Asuya Eish Achia Aim and Aim. What is he coming to include when he says Zachar and Akeva? What's the case talking about? Lav Asuya Eish Achia Aim and Aim isn't just coming to include your mother's brother, maternal brother. The Kosher Nekeva Erva was Zachar Gazra. When there's the Erva is in Nekeva, right? The Erva is in Nekeva. Zachar Gazra. Ishto mishum shliya. 1 second. Right. So anytime the wife, the female with the bigger brother erva, they prohibited the wife, right? Meaning the wife, your mother's sister, would be a daraisa, so therefore they prohibited the wife of your mother's brother. So the Gemara says, this sure is going way too long. I don't know what's going on here. It's a very difficult daf. So the Gemara says it seems to be that it's aser. So, Ishto mishum shniya. Gazro ishto mishum shniya. Maishta hani, maishta ha. Why in some cases we say they're mutter, and in some cases we say they're aser. Ha b'chad kiddushin mikrovla. Your mother's brother's wife came close to you into the family through one kiddushin, meaning she married your mother's brother, so they became related to you. Hani adika trei kiddushin. All these cases where it involves your mother-in-law or your stepdaughter or stepson, there were 2 kedushin. You had to marry into your father-in-law, mother-in-law's family to marry their daughter, and then there was a secondary relationship where they had a child who married to somebody else. So there was 2 kedushin. So it's lo mikra, though we're not going to be so concerned. Shalchle Ramashar Shem Tusania Rav Papi Lamedin Rabbeinu Eishes Achi Avi Ha'av V'Achos Avi Ha'av Mahu. What would be the status of the wife of your grandfather's brothers? Right? We know your father's brother's wife you can't marry. What are your grandfather's brother's wife? Achos Avia Av Mahu. And the sister of your grandfather. The generation below is an erva. We say the generations are different. What are the shnei? It doesn't say these cases. You see, they're mutter. Where it says Tana V'Shire, really it is Asr, but Tana just mentioned some cases left others. My Shire, the High Shire. What else did it leave out that it would leave this out also? Shire Shnios to be Rabbi Chia. The Shnios of Rabbi Chia's house. We'll learn about them tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed today's share. Long share. See you in Elam and see you. Bye.